Hey, everybody. Thanks. Appreciate you stopping by again. Hope everybody's getting something out of the videos that are coming out. They're meant to provoke some thoughts, some questions. None of them go into a whole lot of detail, just enough to get you rolling so that hopefully you ask some more questions and you think about things in a different light than you did before. Today's topic is something that I had been asked one time in an interview. When I was first starting this, I went with a bunch of other interns to get a job working at the VA, and we were all like in a semicircle, and they started, and fortunately they started on the other end, and I was the last one in the bunch. And they asked, what did we feel was more important in order to do the job that we do, either compassion or wisdom? And generally, most social workers and therapists have a deep level of compassion for the people that they work for. That's what brings you closer into doing this kind of work and working with people is your deep-seated feelings of wanting to help other people, to show them things, help them find things, ease their suffering. Uh, a lot of times a social worker's job is to help people find the resources and aid that exists out there so that they can improve their lives. So in this particular group, I was the last one in the group. And of course, as the questions that came around from person to person, most people, well, no, actually all people were saying compassion, which is usually the expected answer, that having compassion and a deep caring for the people that you're working with and being able to be compassionate allows you to, work with these people that may normally sometimes be difficult, or the situation may be strained. It allows you to get through your day. It allows you to keep doing what you do. And when they got to me, of course, being the smarty butt that I am, I was wisdom. And that got some heads turning and some eyebrows went up. And, people had looked at me and I was like, no matter how compassionate you are, if you don't have skillful means, you might just as easily hurt somebody as help them. Wisdom is extremely important for understanding not just what the person says they want, but what's behind what they say. And then also understanding that maybe the thing that they think they need in order to achieve what they want isn't really what they need. They need something else. And you have to be able to sort of ferret your way between all of this to get to the root of the problem and to help find a solution. And then to do it in such a way as the person that you're helping gets helped and not rescued, that they themselves gain something from the situations, that they learn something, they learn how to do things in a more skillful means themselves, so that later on they don't need you. They can do these things on their own. This is easy to see when you talk about things like a car wreck. If you come on a car wreck and someone's been injured, or in a lot of other different situations, they've been injured, unless there's immediate danger where they need to be pulled from the car or they need to be moved from the situation, then moving them could actually cause more harm than help. So you have to be able to sit down and assess the situation and go, does this person need to be moved to a safer place, or can I leave them where they're at and help them here? Because by moving them, it's possible that you could injure their back or some other part, or there's maybe a broke bone that you don't know about, and moving the body could create more damage. So, this is also when people come to you and they ask for assistance with things like anxiety and depression. You have to kind of weed your way through to find out what is the problem, what can they do to relieve it, what's the best way to present the information. A lot of times, again, if you are so eager to help other people, you tend to throw advice at other people, or you tend to tell them what to do, like what's best for them. And that immediately puts you in that situation that was addressed in the drama triangle of being one up. In other words, the people that you rescue are one down. And that's not a good situation to be a helper. A helper should be side by side with somebody and basically maybe even hand in hand, if you will, guiding them along and giving them assistance as they need it, not rescuing them or saving them. A lot of times when people come to you, they don't understand this right away and they immediately want you to do something to fix them. And then you have to have that conversation about this isn't my job. My job is to help you, but not do it for you. You especially see this if you don't have wisdom when you're helping people, you will let your own biases and thoughts in your mind about what you think is best overtake you. And you will start doing things based upon what you believe is best or what you want, and not take into consideration as much as what the other person wants who's asking for this assistance or asking for this help. So, wisdom is very important to guide you in what you do. And if you're a very wise person, you will understand that compassion is necessary to do your job, and you will work to gain more and more compassion as time goes on. And hopefully, if you started out on the other end, you're very compassionate. Once you understand the concept that you need to understand what you're doing and how you're doing it, it will allow you to seek more wisdom and understand how to do your job better. For a lot of people, this translates as we run around throwing advice at people. And I'm very careful to tell people that when you come, I assume there's a contract. You are asking me for help. Even though within that therapeutic setting, I'm going to ask you for permission to give you advice. And then I'm going to be very careful to tailor my advice to you and to taper off. And I'm going to look at myself real hard while I'm giving it and going, am I giving this based upon what I want or what I perceive they want through my eyes, my filter? I have to be very careful to think about all these things that are going on. And that's where wisdom gets you through so that you can help people in a way that allows them to reduce their own suffering and to learn how to help themselves. The whole goal of therapy from the day you come to see me is to help you and then get rid of you. That- it's not a case of keeping you on forever and ever. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people, therapy, it may last quite a long time. Everyone's different. But my goal is ultimately to get you what you want and get you so that you can do it for yourself. And then you go out in the world and do it. Now, you may come back to me for a different problem, or you may come back to me for some help later on. But ideally, the idea is you learn to do these things. You learn the skills. You learn how to apply them. So that's where I would differ from, say, a mechanic. It's not my job to have you always come to me to fix your car. I'm kind of like the shade tree mechanic. I'm going to show you how to change your own spark plugs so that if you have to come to me for something, great. But hopefully down the road, some of these things you can do for yourself. And that's the ultimate goal. This leads me into the idea of when you see people giving advice and telling people what to do. A lot of times people jump in and they want to be helpful. They want to, they see someone else maybe, having a hard time and they want to jump in. And this is where you have to use that wisdom to pull back and go, well, first, did they even ask me for help? And even if I feel I need to give it to them, maybe I should ask them first, would you like my help? And then they may ask you and tell you exactly what they want. And you kind of have to filter your personal ambitions out of this. Because a lot of times we do the helping because we want to feel good. And that's where you immediately know your compassion has went awry. You need wisdom to pull you back and go, this is not about the therapist feeling good. It's about the client feeling better and being able to separate the two. So I hope you start to understand this idea that I say in my mind, and this is one of those Zen things where maybe there's not a perfect answer. I think that you need some compassion and you need a lot of wisdom, and then hopefully you gain more compassion. If you start out the other way around, then hopefully you realize at some point, if you truly are compassionate, then you want people to be helped and not hurt. So you start seeking out the wisdom on how to help people and how to do stuff. And you also are all the time asking yourself, why am I giving the advice I'm giving? What is the goal? What is the goal both of the client and of the individual session? Where are we heading with this? And as long as you keep your eye on that, it helps you to better tailor your sessions and what you do to help people to this individual. Because no two individuals are exactly alike. When somebody comes to you and says they have, an anxiety issue, you have to ask a lot of questions to figure out, is it Is it a social anxiety? Is it general anxiety? Is it anxiety based upon something that's legitimate? Is there a real reason why you need to be worried about this? Or is this the kind of anxiety that goes on where there isn't anymore a real need or reason to keep this high level of anxiety going? Being able to explain to somebody that you actually need a certain level of anxiety, that's what gets you up and going sometimes. But when does the anxiety become damaging? And how to help you get across between the two. So again, the idea is wisdom. It's, being able to do things by skillful means, and then having the compassion to want to share that with people and help people so that they also can get their life back on track, feel better, get things better. Okay? So again, think about it for yourself, figure out where you stand, and then ask yourself when you do things, who are you doing them for? And are you doing them skillfully? And are you helping the other person achieve what they want without making a lot of assumptions and jumping to conclusions, but really rooting through and finding out what is the problem you're dealing with? So again, thank you very much, and I hope y'all have a great day.